Snow falls on a hilltop in Montana. 210 men lie dead in the grass. Not one of them was left alive to tell what happened. For over a century, historians have pieced together those final minutes from hoofprints, shell casings, and stories passed down by the people who won. By the end of this video, you'll understand how a boy who almost got expelled from West Point became one of America's most famous and most misunderstood military figures, and why his death still shapes how this country remembers the Indian Wars. Now, if history is more than dates to you, if it's about understanding people and the choices they made, subscribe to Yendaru. We explore history, told through evidence, storytelling, and the voices too often left out of the conversation. Armstrong Custer was born in Ohio in 1839. He grew up loud, reckless, and hungry for glory. He graduated last in his class at West Point. Then the Civil War broke out, and chaos turned out to be exactly what he needed. By 26, he was a general. After the war, the Army sent him west into the Great Plains, where the United States was locked in a slow, grinding conflict with the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho nations over land, gold, and treaty promises the government kept breaking. In 1868, Custer led a dawn attack on a Cheyenne village on the Washita River in present-day Oklahoma. He called it a decisive victory, but the village he hit was under a peace flag, and its leader, Black Kettle, had already survived one massacre 4 years earlier at Sand Creek. Black Kettle and his wife died in the Washita attack, along with dozens of others, many of them women and children. Custer's own second-in-command, Major Joel Elliott, was left behind with a small detachment and killed by warriors from a nearby camp, a decision that haunted Custer's reputation among his own officers for years. Here's the part most people don't expect. Custer wasn't just a soldier, he was a celebrity. He wrote a best-selling memoir. He posed for photographs in fringe buckskin like a character from a dime novel. Newspapers back east loved him. Golden hair, bold cavalry charges, quotable one-liners, the real George Custer and the Custer sold to the American public were already two different people, and the gap between them would only grow after his death. In 1874, Custer led an expedition into the Black Hills of present-day South Dakota. That land had been guaranteed to the Lakota Sioux by treaty just 6 years earlier, supposedly theirs forever. Custer's men found gold there, and within months, thousands of prospectors poured in, treaty or no treaty. The US government tried, half-heartedly, to buy the land back. When the Lakota refused, Washington simply declared any Lakota not confined to a reservation by a set date to be hostile. It wasn't really a negotiation, it was a pretext. That set the stage for the summer of 1876. The Army planned a three-pronged campaign to force the remaining free bands onto reservations. Custer commanded the 7th Cavalry, roughly 600 men, and was ordered to locate a large encampment believed to be gathering along the Little Bighorn River in Montana Territory. What his scouts didn't fully grasp, and what Custer seems not to have believed, was just how large that encampment actually was. On the morning of June 25, 1876, Custer's scouts spotted the village. Historians still debate exactly what he was thinking, but the working theory is this. He believed a fast, surprise strike could scatter the camp before its warriors organized, the same tactic that had worked at Washita 8 years earlier. He split his regiment into 3 groups. It was a plan built for a village a fraction of the size of the one actually camped along that river. The camp held an estimated 7,000 to 10,000 people, among them as many as 1,800 to 2,000 warriors, Lakota, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho, gathered under leaders including Sitting Bull, a Hunkpapa Lakota holy man, and Crazy Horse, an Oglala war leader already legendary for his tactical mind. This wasn't a scattered band caught off guard. It was one of the largest gatherings of Plains nations in a generation, and it was ready. Custer's force never reached the village. Warriors under Crazy Horse and other leaders moved fast, cutting off his advance and surrounding his battalion of roughly 210 men on the ridge that would later bear his name. According to Lakota and Cheyenne oral tradition, the fighting was fast and chaotic, over in under an hour. Every soldier with Custer that day was killed. It remains the most significant military defeat the US Army suffered in the entire history of the Plains Wars. News reached the American public on July 4th, 1876, the country's centennial, The timing made it feel less like a battlefield loss and more like a national wound. And that's the twist most people miss. The victory that day sealed the Lakota's defeat. Public outrage gave the government the political cover it needed. Congress fast-tracked funding, the army poured in reinforcements, and within a year, most of the free bands, including Crazy Horses, had surrendered or fled to Canada. The Black Hills, the land at the center of it all, were seized outright. In the century since, Custer's story became a screen onto which America projected whatever it needed. For decades, textbooks and films cast him as a martyr, a golden-haired hero cut down by savagery. Statues went up, towns were named after him. It took until the late 20th century, alongside the American Indian movement and a broader reckoning with how this history had been taught, for that narrative to seriously crack, for historians and the public to start listening more closely to Lakota and Cheyenne accounts of what actually happened and why. Today, the site is called the Little Bighorn Battlefield National Monument, and it tells both stories side by side, the 7th Cavalry's markers on the hill, and a memorial honoring the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho who defended their homeland. The Lakota and Cheyenne nations are still here. Their fight for the Black Hills never actually ended. In 1980, the US Supreme Court ruled the land had been illegally seized and ordered compensation. The Lakota have refused the money for over 40 years. They don't want a payout, they want the land back. So who was George Custer? Not quite the hero the postcard sold, and not quite the simple villain of a morality tale either. A man whose ambition, arrogance, and blind spots collided with a nation of people defending everything they had left. His death didn't end that story. In some ways, it's the reason so many people finally started asking who was telling it. And if you're wondering what happened to the man who many believe actually outthought him that day, that's the story of Crazy Horse, a warrior whose courage, strategy, and refusal to surrender made him one of the most fascinating figures in American history. Click the video appearing on your screen right now and continue the story of the man who stood against an entire nation. You don't want to miss this one.